Riley and Company. Today we are going to color the Dress Up Chicks and Bunnies set that goes with our dress up characters. As you can see, Riley got in on the dress up, Lyle the crocodile got in on the dress up, which is kind of ironic that an alligator dresses up as a chick, but you know, hey, and even Smiling Bert got in on the good stuff. So I've got this little card to show you as well. Look at this. Look what you can do with this set. Is this adorable? These are so much fun to color, and they're actually pretty quick because a lot of it is yellow, right? So what you're going to do before you begin, you're going to stamp everything from the clear sets. Okay, just stamp it with a dye-based ink on your paper, and then we're going to use Copics. And this is what it's going to look like when we're finished. And always put your colors along the edge so you know what to use if you want to do those colors again. Okay, so let's get started. And we might as well just start with the yellow because there is the most of it. So I'm using Copics today, of course, and this is Y18. So what we're going to do with this piece is we are just going to outline it just like this, all the way around the outside. And once we get the outside all lined out like that, we're going to come back in with circles and fill in the bigger spaces. Now, the reason that I use circles is because it saturates the paper better than just using lines like that. So if you just used lines, it would look like this. And you can see your marks. Circles, however, go over each other. And your saturation is much better. Even in the smallest spaces, I use circles to get really good saturation. Okay, now you'll notice right here, or maybe you can't see it, but I can. I made a little goof and went outside the lines. Now, if we're cutting these out, it really doesn't matter, but that gives me the prime reason to show you this. This is a Copic Zero. It's called a blender pen, but I call it a magic eraser. So all you're going to do is take the color that you got on the outside of the line and pretend you're just pushing it right back in. And it doesn't take much. And then everything is right back in the lines. Magic eraser, Copic Zero. Love it. If you don't have one, you need one. Also known as a colorless blender. Now I'm also going to color in the feet. And since the color on top is also going to be an orange, I'm just going to color the whole thing in and not worry about the lines. Now that gives us a base to add more color to. Now, you can use the same Copic pen again and get shadows. So watch this. I'm not going to go over the whole thing again. I am just going to go over where there would be shadows, which is along the bottom. And under the arms there, under the hood. And these are actually upside down, so they would have a little more up here. And can you see how you get two different colors from that? Pretty impressive, huh? All right, and we will come back and blend this in just a little bit, so don't worry about the splotchiness. Now I'm going to take a little darker of a color. This is my second favorite color to use. The Y18 is my first, but the second is Y38. And it's because they blend so well together. I just absolutely love them. So I'm going to bring some of that color up here and just use the flick technique. And then I'm going to bring some of it from the bottom up. And do the same over here. And under the armpits. And do a little bit right under there. And I'm going to use this to color the beak as well. And then I'm going to bring some in here. And in there. And a little along the edges. I'm also going to use it on the tail. See how that's just another deeper color? Now I'm going to go back over it with my original Y18 and watch how it blends. Isn't that pretty? We'll write our two colors down. Y18 and Y38. Fave colors. Now I'm going to grab a darker orange, which will be my YR09. And I'm going to use it very sparingly, but it's going to make a huge difference. So I'm just using it on the feathers. I'm just flicking it out very lightly. I'm going to bring a little tiny bit of it under there. And under there. And if you can see I got a little bit right there that isn't supposed to be there. I'll get that out in just a minute. Yeah, I think I'll put just a tiny bit under here. Now when you're coloring the dress up series, you don't have to worry about going outside the lines very much at all because our die is cut right up next to the black line. But if you're like me, it bugs you anyway. So right there, I got a little bit outside the line and I'm just gonna, like I'm pushing it back in the lines. It's like, get back in there. Get back in there. Get. All right. And we are good. Now you can take the original Y18 if you want, and you could blend these feathers out. I kind of like them the way they are, so I'm just going to do a couple streaks just to bring the blending down. And I am going to use them on the lines along the edges. Okay. That's as easy as that is. Pretty simple, huh? So let's just turn it and go this way, and now we will work on the eggs and this suit, and this is his hat. So it's a little egg suit, and we're going to go back and we're going to pull out that Y18 again, and I'm just going to make him a little striped shirt. I think I'll make the flower on the eggshell yellow as well. I'm going to grab the Y38 and we're just going to come in from the edges so it creates that shadow. Use your little flicking technique. For those of you that don't know what a flicking technique is, it's putting the pen down towards the edge and lifting it up as you go. And then we're also going to do that from underneath. Cute. We'll come back with our original color and blend it all in. Now let's go for the green on this. So I'm going to start with my lightest green, which is YG07. I just realized I forgot a color over here, didn't I? And YR09. So I do believe I'm going to make most of the eggshell a green. Now you don't have to have a lot of colors to color with alcohol markers, because most of them, as I mentioned previously, will lay down another tone or depth of that same color if you go over it again. And sometimes even 3 times. It just depends on the color and how saturated it is. So there we have that. Now let's just go ahead and work on this guy. And it is a little tedious. This little eggshell is just a wee bit tedious. And I think I'm going to go ahead and color that so it matches the top. Now, since I have my green marker out, I know that I'm going to be putting some dots on my little rabbit suit, so I'm going to do that while I'm at it. And I think I'll put some stripes on this egg right here. And let's color this little egg in green. What do you say? Okay. Now I'm going to pick up my next darkest color of green. So I have a YG07 and a YG09. So this is going to be my shading color. Now we can do this with the YG07 like I mentioned, but you'll notice on the green it will give you a little darker. See that? This is the same marker I was using. I didn't grab the other one yet. And just bring it in with a little bit of a flick, but it will fade a bit as it blends into it, basically itself. And then we will come back with our YG09. And I just got green on my white rabbit suit. Can you believe that? Some days I'm messy and some days I'm not. So this would be YG07 and YG09. I often find that if I'm doing something for a card, something really basic, 2 colors will do it. 2 of the same shade will do it. So that is 07 and 09 of yellow green. Now What color should his suspenders be? Let's make them blue. And I'm just going to color the whole entire thing. And I think I'm going to put a little of that color in that egg and maybe a couple of these. And that's a BG53. And let's grab the Y38 again, and we're just going to add, now I could use the regular yellow, the Y18, but down here it's going to have a lot of shadow anyway, and I want to use it for some dots. Add a little right here. Looks good to me. So let's grab the orange, and I think we'll make the buttons orange and one of the stripes orange. So let's do this. That's what I love about alcohol markers. One of the reasons I like them so much, you can get in little teeny tiny spaces. And we'll use the orange to do a little bit of shading down here at the bottom. And a little bit of shading on those. Cute. And now let's grab our hot pink. What do you say? Now I have two different colors of pink. I have a light one and I have a very bright color. So this one is RV02. And this one, very bright, is an RV06. Now I'm using Copics today, but sometimes I use a blend of different kinds as well. You know, I might use an Ohuhu on one or an Olo and mix it with the Copic. And I did a video on our YouTube channel. If you're watching this, you obviously know where our YouTube channel is, right? Make sure you like and subscribe, by the way, and then you'll get notices when all the new ones come out. But I did a comparison as to which marker was better, the Olos or the Ohuhus or the Copics. They're all three alcohol markers, so go out and check it out. I think you'll be very surprised at what you find. I compared the markers, I showed you different papers, blending, the whole thing. Now this, I'm just going to make his little paw pads pink. And I believe I'm going to put the bow on here, pink. And the bow on here, pink. So we are pretty much done with him, except for, now it would be fine just to have his shirt left white, right? But we have shading here, so we might as well use a C1, which is a cool gray. It's a gray one. And we're just going to flick in along the sides to give the white a little shadow too. And that's how you do that. So it makes it look white, but it does have a little bit of shading. So let's finish this guy before we move along. So I've got an E31, and all I'm going to do is cover the entire basket with my brown. And give the handles a little color. Then I'm going to use the same marker again, and I'm going to come back in from the edges. Just give it a little shadow. So that's E31. Then I'm going to grab my E33. And I'm just going to pull in a few more shadows. And just attack those little, I don't know what they call these things. Connectors? I don't know. I do not know. And that's as easy as that is. Let's throw a little bit of what do we say? Orange. Yeah. On the little egg. And we'll do some orange dots on that. And then we're finally going to pick up our really bright one and just give this just a few little highlights. Just where the shadows would be the darkest, which would be in the crease of the bow. Then I'm going to come back with my RVO2 and I'm just going to blend that out so it's nice and soft. And there we have it. Isn't that cute? Now let's just move right around to our bunny suit. Now I am going to leave him. I'm going to leave the suit white. This is going to be a white rabbit. So we do need to do his vest. His little bow is going to be orange. So I'm going to take my Y38 that we've already used. And I'm going to color the whole thing in. And I'm going to take my dark orange, which is YR09, and I'm going to put that's where the creases would be, right? And along the bottom. Yep. And I'm going to put a little right there. And I do believe we need a yellow dot on his outfit right here. I'm going to fill that in, and we can even use the yellow to blend out our oranges. Alrighty. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the dark pink, very small amounts, and highlight with. So I want the shadows just along this bottom edge right here, and just barely along the paw pads. Then I'm going to use my RVO2. I'm going to come back and blend that in a little bit more. And then you're going to be completely surprised at what makes this little bunny pop. Little bunny outfit, I should say, pop. We are going to use our C0. Now, 0 is very, very, very little color. However, it creates fantastic shadows, and especially if you're trying to make something look white. So I'm basically just going to outline my little rabbit suit with C0. So it's going to give the appearance of being white with a little bit of gray. And for sure we want to get some of that shadow underneath where that vest is. So I have just a little bit. You can tell it's starting to get a little bit of shadows, huh? So that is C1. I usually put my C0, I'm sorry. I usually put those on the top. So because I don't know why. That's just how I do it. You can put them wherever you want in your little index of colors. So next I'm going to use a C1. I'm going to come back, and this is going to be my darkest color of shadow, so I'm going to be very, very careful with it. So I'm just going to bring that C1 under the areas that would have a noticeable shadow. And just under his arms. And there we go. I am not going to do any shadowing or shading on his vest because I want it to look bright white. But I do have a little spot. Can you guys see that? See where I went outside the lines? Right here. Oh, I know, it's horrible, isn't it? It won't be for long. Now this little magic trick usually works on almost any color except for reds. And reds are so hard. The pigment is so strong in those. And there we go. No more mess. Okay. Now all we have to do, we'll just turn it around the right way again. I always turn my paper to go with where I'm coloring so I can stay here, just like you cut. You hold your scissors straight, turn your paper. So with the C1, that is going to be our outline of our rabbit because of course he's white, right? So I am just going to quickly do some outlines. Not filling it in at all, except for this part. And that I'm filling in. Because it's got to match. The plastic's got to match the hat, right? You can add some BG53 that we've already used. We're going to make his eyes blue. Right? And we're going to add some pink in the ears. And on the nose. Maybe a little on the cheeks, just a bit. Then we're going to take the darker pink and only use it up here. And he's done. If you want to make these little dots a little smoother, that's where you can bring your blender pen right back in. We're just going to soften it up. There's no color, it just softens out the pink is all. And I'm going to use that gray one more time. Oh, it's underneath my computer. Oh, there it is. Okay. And I'm just going to get these a little bit darker on the sides. You can color these any color you want. Now, as far as the slippers go, they are also going to be white. So there's just going to be a little bit of shading in the back. Right, a little under there. And then all we're really going to add to this is some pink. I used to have a pair of slippers like this. True story. I do not know what happened to them at all. It's kind of weird. Now we have 2 eggs to finish up, so I am going to make this last egg blue. And I think I'll put some blue in here too, just to finish it up. I'm gonna put some yellow dots on this, some bright yellow dots. We use a 38. Put some dots on this. Look at that. How adorable is this? Now all you have to do is grab the dies and start cutting, or if you like to fussy cut, start cutting. Then you dress up the little animals and have a blast. Okay, one last thing I will tell you before we go. This is your master, okay? This piece right here, we've just spent 30 minutes coloring. Put this in a book. I put them in an 8.5 by 11 book. Look at this. It's so big it won't even fit in my area. And I have masters of every single one of them that I have, okay? Then when I want to make a card, I just grab my master and start color copying. And you don't have to sit and color it all. You can just play dress up all you want. So thank you very much and have a fabulous day. And I will see you on the next coloring video. Take care.